who can introduce herself and is going to lead us in our opening activity.
Okay.
Hello. So I'm Talia. I am at Temple Sinai. I'm the Youth and Teen Engagement Coordinator. So I work a lot with 7th and 8th graders. I do work with 9th and 12th graders, but our 7th and 8th graders are such a big group and love them all. I also work with Armad Rahim, which is 7th through 12th grade. So that's and I'm a class fellow. So I will be going to Camp Coleman this summer. So yes, all of those things, many hats. So this opening game is something that I play with my 7th and 8th graders, and they had such a hoot playing this game. If anybody else ever wants it, it's a Kahoot. So fun. And it's called Jewish Food Trivia. And it might be a little easy for you all, but you can see if it's something that might interest, the groups that you work with. And anyways, so on that note, let me see. Let me pull it up. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so I hope you all have a phone, like a second device with you, or if you have your computer, you could do that too. And also, can somebody allow me to share my screen?
I just did, Talia. I think you should be able to now.
Amazing. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so here it is. We'll play classic version. And there you go. That is the game pin so that you can join. Hi, Jesse, welcome. Welcome to this Kahoot. Amy, welcome. Lana, Stephen, Kelly, wow. Leslie, welcome. Hannah, hi Hannah. Nikki, Susie, Nancy, Annie. Okay, I think is that everyone?
That was it was so generational. I was the last one on there and I'm the oldest one in this group. Isn't that funny?
Just a little. Okay, so we'll get started playing. And remember, this is Jewish food trivia. Woo! Okay, so first question, and I think you have like 10 seconds to respond, maybe 20. Okay, but the first question is, the main ingredient in hummus is apples, chickpeas, mayonnaise, or bread?
I'm making hummus for dinner tonight, guys.
Ooh.
With some harissa.
That sounds really good, actually, with harissa. Anyways, okay, everyone got it right. So proud of all of you adults that know this. Okay, the next, Stephen, though, is in the lead. He got it the quickest. So next up is Jesse, and then Susie, Alana, and Hannah. Let's see if somebody can beat Stephen to the next one. Which of the following foods are kosher? Pork, shellfish, chicken, a cheeseburger. Chicken. Nice. Okay. Oh, Stephen, still the fastest. Still the fastest. Jesse, second place. So proud. But Alana and Kelly taken up a notch. Good for you guys. Okay, the next one. What kind of fish is lox? Salmon, gefilte fish, tuna, or halibut? Everybody but one guessed halibut or guessed salmon correctly. Okay, let's see. Ooh, Kelly has the highest answer streak. I don't really know what that means, but congrats, Kelly. Stephen, still in the lead. Okay, the next question. What is the main ingredient in a Jewish macaroon? Not to be confused with a French macaron. Almonds, eggs, whipped cream, or dried coconut? Dried coconut. Nice. I see somebody guessed almonds. That is the main ingredient in a French macaron. So close. And someone guessed eggs, which I guess maybe, but it is coconut. Congrats to the 10 of you who guessed that one right. Ooh. Jesse took the lead right from underneath Steven. Wow, so proud.
This is the best day ever, and it's not even.
Okay, what do you cook latkes in? Butter, oil, caramel, or water? Does somebody say caramel, caramel? Not sure what everybody else says. Oil, though. Everybody gets that right. Okay. Let's see. Hannah is now on the leaderboard. Jesse, though, still in the lead. Congrats. Congrats. Okay. What type of bread do we eat during Passover? Matzah, challah, bagels, or tortillas? Let's see, let's see.
Seems like it's frozen.
There it
Oh.
is, matzah. 11 people. Well, it sometimes happens that way if like somebody doesn't answer because it waits for everybody to answer. So 11 people guessed matzah correct. So proud. Okay, let's see. And the leaderboards stay the same. Alana, though, is very close to Jesse. I think, you never know. You never know, Jesse. Someone might sneak up on you. How many points are on a Hamantaschen?
That is not.
3. This one said 6. That would be a really big Hamantaschen, I guess. Okay. Jesse's still in the lead, but only by like what, 14 points? I mean, it's close. It's a close one. And 3 in a row. Kelly is back in the game. Proud of you, Kelly. What is the name of this dish? And you will see it. What is this? What exactly is this? Kugel, rugelach, a knish, shakshuka. We're just waiting on 2 more people to answer. One more. Okay. Everybody gets it right. Shakshuka. Shakshuka is one of my favorite dishes, to be honest. I know not everybody loves it, but Amy, highest answer streak of 8. Wow, good job. And you're now on the leaderboard. Okay. What do you put in your donuts, sufganiyot or sufganiya, during Hanukkah? Nutella, whipped cream, jelly, or ice cream? I guess this is sort of subjective, but what do you typically put in your sufganiyot? Jelly. Nice. That was correct, I guess. That's just the most traditional. Though I do think that you could put Nutella in. I'm not sure. Because I think they're just stuffed donuts. Jesse, Alana. Wow. Crazy. Crazy. Alana with the lead. Okay, what makes challah challah? The type of flour you use, the amount of eggs that you use, or the way that it's braided. The way that it is braided. That is correct. That is correct. It is like an egg bread, but that's not like the most special part of a challah, because a lot of different types of breads are egg breads. Okay, and that is it. So let's see who won. Who's on the podium? Hannah, 3rd place. Congrats. Jesse, 2nd. And first, dun, 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 is Alana. Woo! Congrats. 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 Okay. And that is all that I have for you. So thank you.
Thank you so much,
for
Talia.
playing.
Thank you so much for leading us in that fun game. If anybody wants to lead our opening activity next week, please reach out and let us know. All of you obviously do this all the time, so we do not need to come up with the activities to start, and we'd love to showcase you guys and the fun things that you are doing. So let us know if you want to lead something. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today with our time. As you see, there is a woman named Leslie who is here. Leslie, you can wave at all of us. So Leslie is an amazing consultant. She was actually my coach for a Spurtus program that I did. And she's going to be working with us kind of collectively on some goal setting. And I want to give a little bit of context. She's here today to kind of hear the context I want to give. I want to give a little bit of context for what I mean and why this is something that we're going to be doing. And then we're going to actually spend some time digging into it today. And then next week, when we come back, Leslie will actually be leading us in some collective goal setting. So that's what we're going to do. After that, we'll try to consolidate that at the end. We will have a chance again to share some announcements, things you want to share with the rest of the group. I have some things, start thinking now if there are things you want to share. And as always, we'll try to end with some high notes to end our, keep this positivity and smiles going as we leave the Zoom and go back into our lives. So I am going to share my screen. I'm having screen sharing problems today. It's like I forgot how to do it today, which I don't really know how that happened, but it was like I just forgot how to do it. Okay. Slideshow from the beginning. Okay. So everybody good? Give me a thumbs up. Make sure you can all see this. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So today we're going to talk a little bit about building community support. And by building community support, really building support of all of you as a community and coming to think of the people on this call as a community. So through programming for teens and adults and a lot of data collection, I'm sure many of you have filled out surveys, have helped us fill out surveys from parents, teens, and professionals. We've really gathered a lot of information about what is going on in the teen community here in Atlanta, and has really kind of given us a perspective on what is happening now and what could be happening in the future. And I want to share a little bit of our learnings and our data with you here today. Now, for those of you who have taken our surveys, our professional surveys in the past, this is data that is coming straight from you. So I want to reflect back kind of as you answer our surveys and we bring that data in through our data and evaluation company that we use and we receive that data. I want to reflect back to you some of what we are hearing. So over the past couple since JumpSpark has been in existence, we have been able to launch new programs for teens and parents. That's not just us launching new programs, that's through grant funding to all of you, helping you to launch new programs, helping to foster collaboration. New programs have grown up in our city. We've also offered training and networking for Jewish professionals. You all have participated in that over the years. We have been working to build an active coalition of educators and program providers, really feeling like there is a community of other folks who are working with Jewish teens in our community. And we've really worked to get a better understanding of teens and families being served in our community. We did that last year with our teen survey, with our parent survey, really trying to understand what is going on, not just in each individual program, but overall as an entire ecosystem. But what we have found in our data is that the Atlanta Jewish Teens ecosystem is missing some marks. We are not doing everything that we can be doing. So let me explain to you what this graphic is that you are looking at. So Rosov Consulting, who is the evaluator for the Jewish Teen Funder Collaborative, which JumpSpark is a part of, has outlined key things that need to be in place for a sustainable teen ecosystem, for the work and the support of the teen community to continue long past, if just JumpSpark is kind of holding that right now, to really make this sustainable work, to make sure that teens are always a priority and are always being looked after in our community. So these are the things, and again, we're gonna dig into this in a little bit. But they created a document called the Sustainability Diagnostic, which I will share with you in a little bit, that lays out each of these different things that need to exist. There needs to be stable and strong leadership in the teen community. Skilled, advancing professionals who are growing, who are learning. There needs to be a demand for service. All the programs that we are all offering, there needs to be people who want to come to them, and we need to be generating that demand through what we are doing. Teen voices need to be a part of what we're doing. Having teen voices leading, helping to shape the experiences and also telling their own story. There needs to be financial security, right? We need to know that these programs are going to continue to be funded, that our salaries are going to be continued to be paid, that we are going to continue to support teens. We often know that in financial crunches in Jewish community, often teen professionals or teen programs are the ones that suffer. So is this community sustainable? Is the teen community financially sustainable? There needs to be partnerships. We have worked a lot on like trying to connect all of the teen professionals to make sure that these partnerships and collaboration are happening. There needs to be evaluation, learning, and adapting. That's some of what I am going to be presenting today and some of what you guys have been helping us to gather and learn from our community. And there needs to be shared mission and goals. These are what the Funder Collaborative has outlined as the key kind of tent poles in having a sustainable teen ecosystem. So here in Atlanta, we have heard that the Jewish professionals are aware that some of our programs have goals in common, but we have not yet articulated how that is overlapping. We might know, yes, we all want to help teens. We want to help teens maybe with mental health and wellness. We want them to grow in their Jewish journey, but we have never intentionally had a conversation about how our overlapping goals, of what our overlapping goals are and how we can bring that together for a shared mission and vision. And that's much of what Leslie is going to be helping us to do to really get to that next step of what is our shared mission and vision for the teen community. And I don't think I need to tell you guys this, but the financial health and sustainability of the Jewish teen programming ecosystem is unclear, especially in the wake of COVID-19. That is not, I do not mean to share that as a way to like freak anybody out. That should not be news to anybody, but we all need to make sure that there is a sustainable financial future for our programs and for the whole teen ecosystem. So what sparks of progress have we seen? What things are good? So on the plus side, we have heard from you guys that, or we know that you are delivering quality programs in your niche, right? All of you are doing amazing work. We've just done a round of talking to our grantees. Some of you we've talked to recently in that way. And the work that is being done out there is amazing. I just want to like really acknowledge that. And you guys are good at your jobs, right? Like you know how to serve your teens and your families, and you're doing good work and serving your families well. But on the negative side, we still fear losing participants to other programs. There is still competition, and I think we often function in a place of scarcity. Oh, there just aren't enough Jewish teens, and if some new program comes, that's going to take all the teens from my program. And we still really live with that. And even as much as we are working for collaboration, there is still fear of losing participants to their programs. There's pressure to focus on your own enrollment. I don't know, does anybody feel pressure to focus on their own enrollment? I mean, I imagine that is something that we are living with every day. And especially because of COVID, we might be seeing numbers dropping, and that might cause pressure, nervousness in us. It might make us nervous about the financial future. You know, all of these things are very intertwined. And we often, and this is something we need to work on, we often aren't confident that if we work together, that the programs are going to be high quality. That you know, all of us are, you know, strong Jewish professionals that know we can do a really good job, but we're often nervous to collaborate with others and know that that program is going to be of high quality also. So as I said before, for the future sustainability of the Atlanta Jewish teen ecosystem, we have to figure out develop a shared vision and identifiable core leaders. And I would say you people on the call today, I have identified you as our core leaders. You have been nominated as our core leaders. But what does that mean? And I think that is something that we really have to figure out together what that means. But on a positive note, what we have heard is that 74% of you who have been surveyed told us that you're talking about this. You're talking about this with other people informally, having conversations about how we can be improving Jewish education and engagement in Atlanta. That is a huge step. If no one here was talking about it and no one was thinking about it, we'd have a big problem. But we are talking about it and we are thinking about it. And 82% of you surveyed said now the time is right, that this moment, even with all that is going on, we have the right people, we have the right pieces in place to really make change. So I feel like we have a really strong moment. We have a really strong group of people. And now is the time to come together and figure out what our shared mission and goals are so that we can act collectively to ensure a strong, sustainable future for the teen ecosystem. So this is the sustainability diagnostic that I talked about before. And I am, hold on, whoa, what just happened? It went away. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is actually, no, that's not what I'm gonna do. I was doing such a good job here of sharing my screen. See, I told you, I like forgot how to do it. Okay, hold on just a second. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to go up here and then I'm gonna come down here. I'm gonna put this to everyone. Okay, okay, I just dropped in the chat the sustainability diagnostic. I know it's hard to read all of those words on my screen, and that is definitely not, Annie will tell you, that is not best practices of PowerPoint. Oh no, now I went to the beginning again of PowerPoints. Annie always tells me I put too many words on the screen in PowerPoints. So this is definitely too many words. But what you will see here is that circle with the spokes that I showed you earlier. That is what they're calling the domain. Those are the different categories that need to be in place in a sustainable teen ecosystem. And then they've broken that down to indicators, to things that we see on the ground that show that we are doing a good job at those things. So I've sent this all to you in a Google Doc. And I'm going to stop sharing. And what I want to do now is Annie, are you ready to put us in breakouts?
Can you make me the host and I will do that really fast?
Yes, I can do that right now. Maybe. I maybe can do that right now. Okay. So that was a lot of information, but I really wanted to give you all that information to show you kind of this is what we're hearing. And we really feel like 82% of you that now is really the right time to be having these conversations and coming together to figure out next steps. So what Annie's going to do is she's going to break you into breakout groups. And I want you to, in your breakout groups with the other people, introduce yourself, get to know them. We're going to be there maybe for 10 minutes. And what I'm going to ask you to do is I want you to look through this list together with the other people in your group. And I want you to identify what is something you think we are doing well. What is something that if you kind of had to grade us on these different things, what's something we're doing well? What is something we are not doing well, right? That's something that like, oh, if this is an important factor, we really need to focus on that. I'm just going to leave you with those two prompts. What's something we're doing well? What's something you think we're not doing well? And that will help us kind of in thinking about moving forward, what needs to be done. Obviously, I do not expect you to be experts on the sustainability diagnostic. You have just seen it for the first time, but just dig into it. I don't think anything on it will be incredibly surprising to you, but you might not have ever seen it. I'm sure you have not seen it collected in this way and put together in this way. So you all have the Google Doc. We're going to send you out into breakout rooms now. Really dig in, and Annie just put in the chat one thing you think we're doing well and one thing that we're not doing well or that we should be concerned about.
Okay, the rooms are open.
10 minutes.
Kelly, the Atlanta.
Big document I put in front of you. Like, I would love to hear any reflections, any thoughts, things we're doing well. Thank you, Annie, for clarifying, like the Jewish teen ecosystem, not like JumpSpark or any of you individually. What reflections do you guys have?
I'll jump in.
Great.
Amy and I were talking and we were saying how we feel like we're in a more collaborative space, right? Like people are trying. And then on the flip side, like there's still always that competition that's going to exist. So it's like we're getting there, but then there's always going to be that person that's like, ooh, do we really want to collaborate? Like they're going to steal my kid. So I think there's like that flip side. And then we also talked about professional development and youth professionals helping themselves, and they don't. Like there's so much offered, but they're stretched so thin that like youth professionals themselves, it isn't a priority. So I think that's one thing we're not doing too well. Even though it's offered, we're not helping ourselves.
Who else has a reflection? Were there, I mean, I'll just throw some more questions out there. Like, were you surprised by anything on there? Did you feel like, oh, like when you looked at it, you're like, oh yeah, that is obviously what should happen in an ideal world? Was anybody surprised by anything on there or think anything was missing?
For me, it's one of those things where I just need to like sit with it for a little bit and make it make a little bit more sense to me.
Yeah, 100%. It's a lot to like drop. And I think that was why we wanted to bring it this week before Leslie comes back. Because yeah, sit with it, right? Look at it, and think about it. I mean, I think that this is a metric that we have been looking at for probably the past year, that has really kind of led for us to be thinking about how we're structuring things. I don't think we have any answers. I don't know if we're doing a great job on all the pieces, but at least we have been aware of kind of where our work is. And that has led us to be doing things like these weekly meetings, bringing in people like Leslie to help us think through these things, right? Like we're trying to move in that direction. But I think that, you know, we are very much at the beginning of a collective visioning and mission and goal setting process.
One thing that I thought was interesting was that first indicator in the mission aligned and goals and objectives. And I mean, it's very hard for such a large community to have necessarily shared goals. I mean, why would we have different programs if we all have the same plans and deliverables and all of that? So it would be interesting to kind of try to combine our work when it should be diverse. And so that was an interesting, I guess, category for me.
No, I think that's interesting because I think that, there is a difference between, I think there is a distinction in having kind of a shared vision for the way the community is going and everybody doing the same thing, right? Like, I think our strength comes in that we all are doing different things. And I think we saw that right in the data that I presented, that we're all really good in our little niche of serving our teens, of providing good programming. But then what does that look like in the collective? So if like when we put all these pieces together, or even just start in our heads to think about all these pieces as a collective, are there pieces are there things that are things that should be happening that aren't happening because everybody's kind of doing their own thing? Are there big picture things that we could be working on together? Obviously not for duplication of services or to make anyone irrelevant, but really to feel like everybody's little microcosm is building up to some whole that is serving the whole community. And I think that's really a different way of thinking, right? I don't think that's how we have been thinking as a community. And I think, this document is provocative in that way to say, it's like almost a challenge. Like, is this something that we can do? Aaron Sachs, who works at the Jim Joseph Foundation, who is one of our main funders, wrote an article about the sustainability diagnostic. You can Google Aaron Sachs, S-A-X-E, to read this article. And the first question that he asked in the article was, I'll put it into Atlanta terms, like, what would happen if JumpSpark went away, right? Like JumpSpark, who has been holding this space, who's been providing funding, who's bringing people together. I don't mean to like paint us as like, some amazing thing, but like, right, we have been kind of trying to create an umbrella over the teen community and look at it the whole landscape. And I think really the challenge of the sustainability diagnostic, because we have, just to be totally transparent, we had a 5-year grant. Our 5-year grant is up in August. We're getting a 1-year extension of that grant because we have unspent funds. So we're actually getting 6 years out of the first 5, and then we'll go into renewal. So the question is, right, while we are here doing this work, we know that someone is kind of minding the store of the teen community. But if JumpSpark went away, would collaboration continue? Would there be a sustained focus on teens in the community. And I think that's really the challenge of this work, and we're not going anywhere, but that is really the challenge of the work to be thinking about. We need Jump Spark, right? But like really, we need all of us to be kind of collectively knowing our resources, using our resources, and working towards a goal. And then the role of Jump Spark shifts. So I think that is really a main challenge that I want to put out there. So sit with this document. Leslie is here listening. She will be back next week and really kind of lead us through some of the thinking on all of these pieces. But I want to kind of just put this out that this is what we want to be working on, and this is what we need all of you to be working with us on, because this is really important for the future of our community. One of the things that is one of our measures of success is, are teens a priority in the community? And I think all of us, right? I tell people all the time, I've never stopped seeing teens as the center of the Jewish world. I was an involved Jewish teen. Those were really impactful years in my life. And even as I have served in many different capacities and communities, I always saw teens as the center of Jewish life. And in my mind, so obvious. And I don't think it's obvious to everyone. And so how do we make teens a priority for our community, that they can't ignore us, and we can't, we're not going to slip through the cracks because everyone is prioritizing the teens in our community. I think that's really a goal of sustainability and something that I want to enlist all of us to be working together on. So thank you for indulging us on this. And like I said, sit with this, look up Erin's article. If you want to talk to me about it, I'm happy to dig into this, but really I hope this is a tool we can be grappling with over the next couple of weeks, months, years, the rest of our lives, to really make sure we're doing all we can to serve teens. Okay, with that, I will stop talking. I want to hand it off now to Julie Zeff. Julie works at JFNCS. Last week, it came up that people were looking for support or resources for working with their teens. And Julie wants to kind of gathered some information from different clinicians at JFNCS and asked for an opportunity to kind of share what she had heard with all of you. So I'm going to pass it off to Julie now. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you. Yes, thanks everyone. Great to be with you all. So just as we're shifting gears and I'm heading into sharing just what Kelly said, what some clinicians said, unfortunately, I tried to get a clinician here last minute. They all actually had clients. We have probably 12 clinicians or so on staff and more that can see teens and kids. But that's a good number. And I polled everyone, and they couldn't be here today, but they would love to come back in the future and are happy to help at all. So if there's any like needs or ways that you think one of us or having one of them come and specifically speak to you and us could be helpful, please let us know. Kelly know, Susie, everyone, Jump Spark or me. And meanwhile, here's what I just thought. If you guys are willing to take a minute, and even just after we've done all this work, if you could just maybe even if you want to close your eyes for a moment, you don't have to, you can keep your eyes open and just take a breath or two. And just notice your breath without any judgment. There's no good or bad, no right or wrong. And just notice anything that's present for you in your thoughts, your emotions, your sensations in this moment. And when you're ready, if you want to slowly open your eyes. So just curious if anyone, so one thing we can do is to go around. You don't even need to do that. So that was probably 30 seconds, but I'm just curious if anyone could share like what they noticed coming out of that, like just a word or two.
Gratitude for the moment to breathe. It sometimes feels like holding our breath all day long.
Yeah.
Appreciating the silence, like having a moment of silence is nice.
I feel rejuvenated and centered.
Mm.
I realized how quickly and I was breathing and thinking before, like all the different things I was trying to keep up with, and then to stop and just focus on the one breath and like.
I really liked that we were doing something all together intentionally, so it made me feel really connected.
Beautiful. Great. Thank you all for doing that and sharing and just checking in. And so just to notice kind of the big theme that I got from the clinicians when they checked in with me was just that, to just say, be present with whatever is present and holding the space for that. So that was kind of the big message, which seems like, you know, they kind of said like, forgive me, because this is going to seem so obvious because we all like know that, right? And we try to do it ourselves, but you can see just from 30, maybe even less than 30 seconds of just closing our eyes or not and just taking a breath, it shifts something, and there's like this presence that's available and wisdom and connection that's available that might not have been there before. So I just wanted to offer you that felt sense of that, and that their words were really about, like, it's not about changing anything. It's not about making anything go away or do anything differently, or even telling them that it's going to be okay. That it's really about saying, like, this is kind of crazy and I'm here for you. We are here for you. And this might bring up a lot of things for you. Tell us what is here for you. Like, tell us what your experience is. And then to also, there was this kind of echo about share your own experience, like kind of normalize it in an appropriate way, that like, yeah, this is really hard for me too. This, I've never experienced, you know, we've never experienced this, right? Or we have, and this is hard and it's still hard. And it's kind of like being able to model and show them, and also to model like reaching out for help, that like to share about, as organizations, who are you talking to? Or I talked to somebody from JFNCS and she gave us this tool, because we're all reaching out for help, right? Like, we're all trying to figure out how to connect and get resource and connect together. And then just very practically, one clinician in particular talked about the difference between like what she does with her clients. I know you're not in a kind of therapy role with the teens that you're working with, but with teens in particular, she works, she tries to help them get clear about what are relaxation tools versus distraction tools, and how there's like a purpose for both. And I'm imagining that some of the things that you guys do are really great distraction tools, and to kind of be able to even name them as like, you know, this can take us away from some of the worries or concerns and can help us stay grounded and centered in something bigger than ourselves, and when things are hard or when uncertain, right? So I thought that was interesting and helpful. And then, you know, just this whole relaxation tool, if you start a meeting or with just 20 seconds of taking a deep breath or encouraging teens, and you know, breathing doesn't have to be complicated, or meditation sometimes it has these big, you know, like you have to sit and do it for 30 minutes or an hour, but it can be just paying attention, like mindfulness is just being present on purpose in the moment, right? So just offering you some of those tools. I hope they're helpful, and yeah, and we'd love to come back, and we're happy to share more. So
thank you so much, Julie. I really appreciate it. It's so great to have someone from JFNCS on these calls, just to like help us stay focused on the resources that we have in ourselves and we have in our community. So please reach out to Julie, any of us, if we can continue to provide support in that way, or if you need additional help or resources. Okay, we have about 10 minutes. So I want to collectively ask for people if they have things they want to share with this group, or high notes. We can just put those in there together. I will model at the beginning. I just want to J-Teen, which is an organization that I think largely works with like Hebrew high schools. They have fielded a study. I'm not exactly sure who it's from, some funder, but I don't think the funder is named. You might have seen this floating around in your Jewish teen social media world, but they are really trying to gather data on all teen programming that's going on in the country. So I promised that I would share the survey with all of you. I have no skin in the game if you don't fill it out, but it's just a Google form, it would be, I have been told it would be helpful if you could fill it out. So I have done my due diligence at passing. Oh, and there's a raffle, Annie said. So look at that, you could win a prize. So I've done my due diligence in passing it along. That was my share. Who else has something they want to share with the group, or a high note they would like to share?
I will share on behalf of Abby from BBYO that the JCC is offering the Harvey Rubin Scholarship Award. It's $1,000 for a graduating high school senior who exemplifies Jewish leadership. So I am going to put the nomination form in the chat, and I believe the deadline is February 19th. It says it in the form as well.
I just got to shout out Annie for connecting Talia and I. So Talia and I are doing a joint program this week in the city camps. Is going to do you guys call it Hub or HUB?
It's Hub.
Hub. Going to Hub, we're doing Mini Camp Mogul, and then we were planning that and then I asked Annie about a college thing that we were going to do, and she was like, Talia's already doing one. So now we're doing it, the three of us, and look how that beautifully came together because of Annie and Jump Spark, which is why.
Shout out to Hannah and Talia for being awesome.
Need you.
Yeah.
I need you, Jump Spark. Please don't go nowhere.
I did not mean to imply we were going anywhere. That was not the implication. Please do not start any rumors. I'm very glad that you're doing something college related. So yes, that is a role that Jump Spark can serve in the community. Is we get to talk to all of you all the time, and we get to hear when there are things that you're doing that overlap, and we can kind of, provide that shidduch if we're like, hey, you over here are doing something and you over here are doing something and you could do it together. I am very anti recreating the wheel. I am anti working harder than we have to. And I think when we work together, that makes it easier. So I'm glad that could happen. And the more we all are talking, the more opportunities like that can present themselves, and we can really help make them happen. Who else?
I have one. So I work with the Strong Women Fellowship, 68 female identifying teens, and we are running a donation drive for period products currently. So if y'all want to help spread the word, we are still looking for donations. Very excited to donate to a refugee resettlement organization and public schools to people in need of these products. So thank you.
How do you donate?
Click on the link that I just put in the chat. Yes.
Okay, I have one more question and then I will let you all go. So on Mondays, or the first days of the week, this week it was Tuesday, we've been sending out an email, kind of a reminder about this meeting and called for any agenda items. And we're kind of debating internally about what you guys want in that email. So there are like a whole spectrum of how that could go. On one end of the spectrum, it is, I already know about this meeting. I don't even open your email. Like I click on the link in my calendar invite and I don't look at your email, right? That's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is I would like to have every link from the meeting brought back to me and additional opportunities. And I would like 1,000 things in that email, like everything we know we would like to tell you. And we're kind of trying to figure out where on that spectrum people would like us to hit. We do not want to put in energy that is not serving you. We could also share links in, we can, that's my question. Like, and no hurt feelings, right? If you fall on the we don't read your emails, like just let us know and we won't be putting any energy into making them work. If people are like, yes, I find this a valuable resource, I'd love to have more, we can lean that way. Anybody want to share about that just so we can best communicate with you?
Well, for me, I appreciate the resources. I may or may not be able to open up an email before the meeting, or I think they're really useful though.
But you would want to see resources,
Yeah.
like the links that we share here in the in the Monday email.
Yeah, especially for those that can't make it. If nobody from Sojourn could make it, then I certainly would want to get them.
Yeah, I was just about to say this is the first time and only time I'll be able to come because I have a standing meeting at like 2 on Thursdays. So having the resources would be great.
Great. Okay.
Kelly, I was thinking about what if we each had like a Chevruta buddy, like if your person misses, like you could let them know what's up. We do that in my Musar thing and it's really helpful.
Okay, that's great, Hannah. Let us take that back to our team and see what that would look like. But yeah, I mean, I think that the more we know all about our resources and know kind of like this scholarship opportunity, right? Somebody's teen on this call should get that $1,000, right? Like somebody should do that. It's an Atlanta teen, but like I didn't know about that until Abby emailed us and said, and so I want to make sure that everybody knows about the opportunities. So thank you, Hannah, for that. And I think we heard, we will put resources. Annie is going to, I'm just telling her right now, Annie's going to copy the chat, make sure we have all those. We will send all these out to you on Monday and we'll just continue to put resources. If you have anything, if that's the way we're going, if you have anything that you would like us to include in that email, let us know and we can make sure that that goes out as well. Okay. It was really good to see you all. Thank you all for joining us again. And thank you to Leslie for joining us.